This video is about intercultural communication dynamics, and the content in this presentation is the result of the author's observation about the film entitled Minari by Laluna Azra Pribadi, student number 181 from Global Intercultural Communication 2023 E-Class. Enjoy! Before we start, let me tell you about the synopsis. In Minari, there is a Korean-American family moves to an Arkansas farm in search of its own American dream, amidst the challenges of new life in the strange and rugged Ozarks. Then, they discover the undeniable resilience of family and what really makes a home to them. Then, let's get to know some of the characters. First, there is the father, Jacob E. He has worked as a chick sexer, and he said he has worked in that field for about 10 years, and has moved from California to Seattle until finally to Arkansas while pursuing his dream of opening a farm with his family. Next, there is the mother, Monica E. She also works in the same field as Jacob, but the difference is that she has only worked for about 6 months. Even though she has lived there in the US for a quite long time, she once said that her English skills are still lacking. It is also seen in this film that Monica is against Jacob's idea of opening a farm. And finally, there are the two children, Anne E., the daughter, and David E., the youngest son. In this film, Anne and David are not shown going to school because their house is far away from the city. But it is explained that David has a weak heart disease, so he must always take care of himself a little extra. The background story of Minari. So basically, Minari is set in the 1980s and take place in the US, specifically in Arkansas. And in that year, sadly, Arkansas were an area that not many Koreans are familiar with, so it makes Monica a bit regretting her decision to move there with her family. Next one, identity. Jacob, the father, and Monica, the mother, are pure Korean that moved to the United States after their marriage to pursue their dreams. Later on, they having their kids, Anne, the daughter, and David, the son, after moving to the US. So, Anne and David are Asian. Cool, right? Cultural shock that Monica experienced. In this scene, showed that Monica asked why there was no church specifically for Koreans in Arkansas, because most likely, in California or Seattle, where she used to live, there was a church specifically for Koreans that easy to find. Because she was curious, so she was asked about it. Communication style. They use both verbal and non-verbal for communication style. For verbal, Koreans use at home for keeping the heritage and English for external communication. For non-verbal, it was expressed through the gesture like bowing. And because of the verbal communication style, David has experienced miscommunication for several times. As I said before, here's the scene of the miscommunication that David experienced. He was confused what is Jacob said, because in daily life, the parents are communicate more in Korean, while their children adapt more to their talking to, like Korean with their parents and English with each other or other people. Here's another David's miscommunication experience. As you can see, due to cultural differences, David, who grew up in American culture, felt that his grandmother was not a real grandmother because she did not fit the image of a grandmother that Americans usually describe. She cannot bake a cookie or she cannot even cooking. For the stereotypes, a family think that most Americans are dumb just because they believe in something different. For the first scene, Jacob said, "Why would you believe a stick to find a source of water and pay for it when you can find it yourself?" And for the second scene, the grandma asked to the kids, did they even know what Minari is? For the cultural identity, as you can see, it seems that David grew up with American culture more attached to him. So there was a bit of cultural gap when his grandmother came from Korea and lived with his family. He said there was a Korean smell on his room. Why would he say that when he was never go there before? Next one, power dynamics. As you can see in the scene, Jacob's decision to pursue his farming dream but ignoring Monica's disapproval. This power imbalance causes tension because Monica feels ignored and unimportant, which puts a strain on their marriage and their family future. Next one, cultural context. A family tries to connect with the local community by come to the church, but it will show that the cultural differences make the communication feel so awkward. The locals are way too curious about the family's Korean background, and it shows a lack of the cultural awareness around them. Next one, I will show you two Swedish value dimension. But the first one, in the E family's struggle between Jacob's pursuing of individual success, it was showing the American individualism. Next, Monika's focus on family stability and collective well-being, it was showing the Korean collectivism. Next, for the second Swedish value dimension, as I said before, the family dynamic also shows a moderate power distance, where Jacob takes on a dominant decision-making role as the head of the household, while Monica just tries to accept it, whatever Jacob's decision. At the end of the movie, Jacob's change of view. After the incident of burning of his farm harvest warehouse, he began to care more about his family. He resigned himself to the fact that his warehouse was on fire, requiring him to start everything all over again. I think it was a karma. Last one, solutions. I think community cultural exchange program can help locals and immigrant families better understand each other by encouraging empathy, while empathy in training promotes active listening and curiosity about different cultures. Additionally, policy support can advocate for immigrant-friendly resources such as language classes and local networking opportunities to help immigrants feel more integrated and supported. I think that's all for my presentation today. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a nice day. Bye bye.